I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster, and this is LD and the MC.
Well, as you just heard the legendary Mr. Bob Cobb say, you have found yourself with LD
and the MC.
Number
Back again,
12.
Luke.
Yes, here we go again, another week in January. And is it cold in the North Country, Mr. Mercer? I have to know.
It is cold. It is
okay.
cold, but not near as many of us are posting pictures of freaking snow. I mean, everybody in America got snow, it seems.
In the South, no, careful. In the South, buddy, that's when you see the post. In the South, because we're not used to it. So I apologize. Tons of posts.
You got what we would refer to in Canada as a dusting.
Yes, indeed.
A dusting of snow, and you guys did what responsible people should do in a dusting of snow and lock down, basically.
Shut down everything.
We're the idiots. I mean, we'll make plows and things. There's got to be a way to get to work.
Got to be able to get to school. Dusting shuts down Lawrence County, Tennessee. Trust me on that, buddy. Shuts it down. But I think you have a very interesting mom's basement moment that you need to shut down. You were telling me a little bit about it, and we collectively, because you kind of almost drugged me down with you, got ourselves in a little bit of hot water. I want to hear about this, and all the humpers want to hear about it as well.
Well, I mean, those of you that were in tune, I mean, speaking of shutdown, we almost shut down the internet last week.
Indeed.
And in my defense, first of all, I'm Canadian. And second of all, I'm stupid. Probably maybe in the other order. I'm stupid, and I happen to live in Canada. But I mean, I put up a simple promo for our little podcast. I mean, I was excited about it. Our podcast comes out on Wednesday. So last Wednesday, I put up a simple promo. First of all, I don't even know politics in Canada, never mind politics in America. So let me say there is no political stance to this. There never was. But my timing,
impeccable.
Incredibly bad. And I'll just let the promo play.
Just play.
And do me a favor, just trust us out here. Let this play through.
Yes.
Before we're to, because I mean, this is a topic that, to be honest, I'll be honest, before we started recording, me and you talked, and I said, I don't even know if I want to bring this up, just because when it went down last week, I was like, right away, I commented, Humpers commented, we found our mom's basement moment. But as the week progressed with everything that happened at the Capitol buildings and everything associated with that, I started to think, you know what, maybe we just, we don't even do mom's basement because we need to stay positive.
Yes, for sure.
But this is positive. This was a silly little joke.
It's a joke. It's comedy.
The way I like to explain this is I made a promo for our podcast, and it may star a former reality TV show star that then became president and is the current president of the United States. But I'll just, first of all, I'm going to screw this up. So, wait, I got to get
my favorite part.
Is that your favorite part of the promo?
My favorite part.
Now, my favorite part is when this show actually gets good enough that we don't have to play videos like this. Okay.
We have a producer that just plugs it in.
Let me get this back here.
Stop scrolling and listen up at 6 p.m. this evening. The world will once again enjoy ALD and the MC podcast. This show, this podcast, this absolute extravaganza is huge, like really huge, mega huge as far as podcasts go. My people in the know are telling me LD and the MC is really something very huge. Only a huge idiot would not get out there today and grab LD and the MC by the podcast.
Every time, man. So good. It's so good.
Now, I mean, it was a Wednesday morning promo. I was like, he's going to be all excited. He's going to, I tagged you in it. You were busy with work. You didn't get to see a lot of the excitement.
I missed all of it.
I mean, as when you're promoting anything, you just want to get a reaction. And boy, did I ever get a reaction. But the problem was the reaction was nobody was happy. I mean,
either side, right? Left, right.
Hardcore Trump people were like, how dare you? And people that were against Trump were like, how dare you? And then they all started fighting each other. And just simple fishermen who wanted to learn how to tie a polymer knot were hating on each other. And I did something that I've never done before. And I honestly, I thought long and hard about this. I mean, I even ran the video past my wife. I said, well, I get in trouble for this. Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. She is not some of the people that commented. But so I'm like, do I pull this down? Because there was a lot of people defending me. And I thank each and every one of you that jumped in there and said, hey, man, this isn't political. You guys are a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. The timing last Wednesday was a bad day. Now at around 11 o'clock last Wednesday, I decided
AM.
Because it was just too much hatred. Like it was just the things that people were saying to each other. It was gross. It's everything that we all hate about that situation. So I pulled it down. It's the first time I've ever pulled a post down. I never do that. And I pulled it down just simply because I wanted to stop the hate. But first of all, I didn't mean to offend anyone. And if I did, I apologize. I'm sorry. Second of all, people, come on. Not everything is offensive and or
biased or directed in one way or the other, right? Like that is truly just something made. There are more sound bites. No matter what planet you are on politically in the United States, there are more sound bites of Donald Trump to grab and from interviews, and he's funny, right? Like there's a lot of like the way he pronounces things. So whenever you called me and you're like, dude, where have you been? I'm like, what? And I had been truly like swamped.
I was waiting for you to defend me, by the way. Don't worry, Luke will chime in.
And Luke's like helmet on in the bunker. Did anybody, I have to ask this, did anybody say, you're not even an American? Why are you posting this, you Canadian? Did you get that?
Yes. They did bring that up. They did.
Okay. That was my burner account.
Yeah. And I took it down because I am, but I still stand by it and say it was funny. My timing maybe was a little off, but that's also the mom's basement.
You can't predict that. You can't predict that.
Maybe you could have. I mean,
I don't know. I couldn't.
In retrospect,
dude with buffalo horns, I ain't predicting that. I'm not.
The freaking Simpsons show did. Allegedly,
I know you were telling me that.
They predict everything by the side. My theory on that, dude, is now we're gonna end it here because we've gone way too far.
We've gone past mom's basement.
But my theory on that, dude, is I think he just watched The Simpsons a lot.
And that's how he got his outfit.
That's how he got his outfit, and he wanted to.
This is all I want to say. This is my mom's basement comment. So, when one decides to raid a government building, and you're picking out your attire, you're going Braveheart paint, buffalo hat, shirtless. That ain't how I want to end up on the national news. You know, I mean, maybe obviously it was for him, but I think I'm going a little more incognito. I don't think that worked out for you there, bud. No, that's not a political statement either way. I'm just saying maybe not your best move. You know, maybe a little something more, maybe a disguise, maybe a mustache and glasses. Like, I don't know, when you decide to invade.
Of all times that wearing a mask would be perfect. I mean, now's the time where a mask, even if you don't believe in masks, it's going to conceal
something.
Okay.
Dracula, you know, do something vampire-esque.
Stop it.
So that's my mom's basement. We're stopping. Comment below, though. I want to know, you watched the clip. Some of you may not have seen it. Is it funny? Shouldn't Mercer have been persecuted? I want to hear it. Tell him, you can comment here on my channel, but I would rather you direct all those comments to Dave's.
At Facts of Fishing. Give me a follow.
At Facts of Fishing. Subscribe and comment. But let him know. Let him know. That wasn't the only news, though, Dave. That wasn't the only news last week.
Oh, really? I stopped paying attention to the news after that. I ostriched the rest of the week. I put my head in the sand.
Yeah.
Waited for it
In the
all
ice.
to be over. In the ice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that. But, well, you did know about the other news because we had a breaking news moment. You just lied to the Humpers. So we had the Bassmaster Classic. We announced it. We did a special edition on that. It moved. On the heels of that, in the same day, much like we've seen a couple times
The
before.
date moved.
The date
clarified. The date moved.
Flip-flopped with a date in March. Now Pickwick Lake will be hosting the Elite Series in March and not the Elite Series in June, and the Classic will take those same dates. But on the heels of that, we saw another organization, Major League Fishing, BPT, release some news of their own news. And it was one that kind of caught me off guard. Whenever Bass announced the Fox deal the same day, and I understand this, it's business, it's competition, it's whatever. But on the same day of the Fox deal, they're like, hey, we got John Cox, that day. And I'm like, okay, maybe you could have waited till tomorrow. Whatever, I get it. Still the Thunder, shots fired. It's business. It's how it works. But on the heels of the Classic, and there was a lot of buzz around Bass, you and I had to break into a special edition, and we appreciate each and every one of you Humpers joining in. A lot of views. You guys were all over it, and gals out there. So I saw this post. I actually texted you about it, and I'm like, hey, man, I kind of want to talk about this. So this is the post. This is from Alton Jones, who is an owner within the MLF organization, but there were lots of MLFers, BPTers that shared this. But this is the thing, and I want to ask you this because, and we haven't talked about this yet. I have so many questions because you are a TV guy. I am a garage podcast guy. So I feel like maybe I'm not even at liberty to speak about this, but they've made statements like this before, and I have to get a professional's opinion. So Alton Jones says this, Dave Mercer, did you know that Major League Fishing was the highest rated non-football sports program on broadcast and cable during the first 3 weeks of December 2020? Just grab those three. Delivering to more households than the NBA preseason on TNT, in parentheses, boxing on ESPN, Premier League soccer on NBC, and MLS soccer on Fox, as well as some college football games in the Power 5 conferences. Dave Mercer, I find that very hard to believe. And the reason I do is I base everything off of simple math. I'm a hillbilly. I went to county school, whatever. To me, in bass fishing, and I've said this before, if the Bass Angler Sportsman Society, which is like the OG, they've been in it, we all know.
They invented the sport.
They invented the sport. They have 1 million followers on Facebook. I feel like that's a very good metric to me. So a competitive fishing organization has 1 million social media followers. We don't have a single pro, not one, in the entire sport. Not Van Dam, not the G-Man, not Brandon Polnick, Brent Ayler, whoever, some of these guys with huge social media followings. We do not have a single pro with 1 million followers. We don't have a single pro with close to 500,000 followers. Other than Scott Martin's YouTube, big deal. But on a social media platform. So I say, where are all these people coming from that are all of a sudden so interested in tournament bass fishing? Dave Mercer, am I wrong in thinking that and being skeptical? Because I am a skeptic.
That's a lot of people, Luke. So it's a lot
of people.
More than soccer is a lot. Because while we sat here, I Googled what is the world's biggest sport, and it came up.
Did it say Major League Fishing? Because they're bigger than soccer.
But I do not believe that it's totally wrong. I just think that all press releases, as always, you should dissect them a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Meaning
juice them up a little bit.
It seems strange to me that they would just pick a 3-week window of, a random during 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks in December when this sport was kind of playing in that sport. I mean, dude, I led the 100 meter for the first 10 meters every single freaking time. I was lightning out.
I'm going to get you on them first 10.
I was fire out of the blocks. But I mean, you just can't pick random weeks. But I mean, it's a lot. It's all I got to say is a guy who works for Bass. It's a lot of people, Luke. A lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Fishing, and
it's a lot of people.
It's great to have people watching fishing.
And that's it. And I said the same. Look, ESPN Live, you guys had 7 million households. That's an ESPN number. It's not a Bass number. And that's a lot. But at the same time, that's a gigantic network. I don't know, man. I think that it's just bizarre to me. And then to lay it on top of the classic news is even more bizarre. But they own the television networks that they're on. I don't know.
I would go as far as to say you could pick. Maybe not one. Definitely you could pick one, but I'll just say you could pick any three. Pick one. We'll throw LeBron in there because he's kind of the biggest deal in the NBA, and then who Messi or whoever you want to throw in soccer. I mean, these guys have like 70 and 80 million Twitter followers. They could literally tweet. One tweet from LeBron could maybe
start a business.
Hey, LeBron, throw a tweet out there, bro.
Huge LeBron guy.
Can you imagine if LeBron was just like, thanks to
stumbled on this amazing show. These guys think I'm great.
I have needed a redneck and hoser in my life for way too long.
Found them. They're refreshing. Stephen A. Smith, you've been replaced. They don't even know anything about basketball. Here they are. LeBron. Oh, okay. We'll take it away from LeBron. Think about like The Rock, dude. That guy, how popular he is, how many followers he has. One tweet, right? One tweet from that guy just blows things up.
It doesn't matter what the fishing industry says. Yes, you get The Rock,
He's behind you, too. You have the bobblehead.
I do.
You do have the Rock bobblehead. Right there he is. Can you smell what Dave is cooking? Speaking of Dave's, I have to ask you another question. I have to jump to this. And it's related to MLF. Major League Fishing BPT angler joining me on the set of NPFL Live, David Dudley.
What is this NPFL you speak of?
It's the Nigerian Professional Football League. It's rugby. And
love it.
Legit, if you Google NPFL, that's the first thing that comes up.
Hey. Any sport that is a position called the hooker, I'm all in. Let me just tell you from the get.
Bring it.
Okay.
The humpers love it.
No, the National Professional Fishing League, the Dudley announcement to me, I thought, wow, great. Kudos.
Yeah.
A great grab, a great voice. I love Dudley because he's an idiot like us.
No doubt.
But my dad, when I grew up, my dad used to always tell me this. And when I was a kid, it never really set in, probably because I didn't do this, but he'd always tell me to put my brain in gear before I put my mouth in drive. And that is not a skill that I have mastered, nor you, nor Dudley.
Dudley.
And that will make your broadcast a lot of fun to tune into. But Dudley's kind of, the weird thing I was thinking about Dudley is I thought about that because I knew, that's going to be a topic, the fact that he's a Major League Fishing pro and now he's working over there. But Dudley's weird. You know what I mean? Like the only association that Dudley's ever had with the league is FLW, obviously. And that was just because the time he was there. You know what I mean?
That's right.
He's kind of one of those slankers. Dudley. You know what I mean?
Dudley.
Like he doesn't... Because Dudley could come back to Bass and you'd accept him as a Bass guy pretty quick too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just Dudley.
He's just Dudley. It'll be interesting to see, his take on that. And I know what it's going to be. It's going to be the truth probably because that's generally what he always does. Or his version. His
opinion, right? His opinion, and we all have them. I found it amazing, and I want to say thank you to Boyd Duckett for truly because he in their contract they're technically not allowed to like fish other things and whatever. And so this was a weird one. I mean, when NPFL reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to get Dudley," and I'm like, "Okay." because Dudley's a great friend of mine. And I'm like, yeah, good luck. That's not happening, just because I figured that, it wouldn't happen. And man, he talked to Boyd, and Boyd, gave him some encouraging words like, make us proud, tell Luke I said, what's up? But anyways,
here. How about you give
you
Luke
do
this
it
special cocktail for me?
When you get
I'll just
close
give this to
to
Luke
him.
for me.
But
A little injection.
here's a dart. But truly, it could have gone a million different ways. And I called John Cox the little peace dove. He's fishing everything. He's flying around the fishing world. But Dudley, nobody probably would have ever thought this, but Dudley could end up being that little twig, that little, here we are. We're all together.
Between you and Boyd. To bring you and Boyd together.
No. I blow that every week. I blow that every week. I'm still waiting on the surprise from you that there's going to be a third little Zoom window, and he's going to be reared back in his chair like he does at his office, and it's just going to be this harmonious event. But I feel like I ruined that every week. We started the show by me talking about, I don't know, man. It was probably not happening.
I mean, you spend a little bit too much time paying attention to their press conferences. My question is,
I got it sent to me. I get it sent to me.
Press releases, sorry.
Yeah, I get it sent to me.
They get you wound up.
I'm not wound up. I think it has to be talked about. So you think the Dudley thing is 2 thumbs up? And I would agree.
I think it's a great addition. I mean, I think it really is. I mean, it's a better than expected addition, to be honest. I mean, that's me being totally honest. And that's not a slight. No, that's not a slight.
We can't all be varsity, Dave. Can't all be varsity. Can't all be eating bugs on live coverage.
And let's be clear. Not going to be. But
let's be honest. You people, comment below right now. That was uncalled for. Stop the
I'm
MC.
Sorry. Dude, you totally
came after our president. And
you
now
came after my whole country. You said you didn't trust Canadians on your podcast.
Not at all. Now, I was joking, but now my whatever trust was there.
That's how it all starts, with a joke.
You leave it across the border.
Bullies always say that.
But here's what happened. I said that, and then it snowed in my house. So
exactly.
There's some kind of bad voodoo juju crap with that. Jeez, I said, no, Canadians. Dusting.
Canadians are simple people. We're just a happy people. We want to get along. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to get by. Dudley, great hire.
Moving on up.
I think we're very, very good. But we got talking about Canadians, and I want to tell you what I think is one of the weirdest stories ever. But before I do, I think we need to address a fan question, because every week we say we're going to address a fan question,
and then we never.
And some weeks we get off, and I almost did it again. So go.
Yeah, so we love the humper question. Send it in, comment what you want us to answer. And there's some good ones, and there's some that are more, I'll say this, like vague, that we can't really, jump into all the time. But we will work them in. I promise you. I screenshot everyone in my, technologically savvy ways. They're right there on the iPhone, and I pitch them to Dave, and we talk about them. But this one came in from JNM Outdoors. And we appreciate the question, but I found it very interesting. He said, what is more competitive? The BFL level, weekend trail type level, Alabama Bass Trail, Texas Team Trail, or the Elite Series / PPT? Now, I think at face value, that question has several answers, honestly. And I think that I will love your take on this. I want to start by saying, like we saw this weekend, the Alabama Bass Trail is a really cool new trail. It's called the Alabama Bass Trail 100. It's only 100 boats. And she, for the first time, because a lot of people are like, oh, pros, I'm not going to fish against pros. I don't want to fish against guys. She opened it up. These paid $25,000 first place team trail. But this weekend, you had Gerald Swindle, Scott Canterbury, Jordan Lee, Matt Lee, Jesse Wiggins, All these guys, Lee Livesey drove from Texas. You had Alex Davis, that fishes FLW, who's, an Alabama hammer, but also very competitive nationally. A lot of pros in it. Pro did not win it. A pro did not win it. Now, Gerald Swindle, who defeated COVID recently, and his tournament partner, Ryan and they both I've been calling them the COVID twins. Ryan was in the hospital, got down with it. They practiced for a half day on Friday and then ended up finishing second. So they were the closest. They were only quote pro team in the top 10. So to me, you see that because that bass trail, I fished it super competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't like Jordan Lee just rolled up and was like, give me that 25 grand. It wasn't like Gerald won it. These guys know these lakes. They're super, super dialed fishermen regionally, not just in the state of Alabama. You put these guys anywhere, they will find bass. They just choose not to do it at a higher level. So to me, I think it's kind of relative to, I have fished the bass trail super, super competitive. I fished bass clubs, super competitive. I fished the FLW tour, cutthroat, competitive. So I say to you, Dave Mercer, which one do you think is more competitive? Because I think it just depends on, I think all tournaments are competitive. I think they're all competitive. So what do you think? What's the most competitive?
I think all tournaments are competitive. Yes, that's the easy answer. And I think that you can't compare one day to the other. I said, there's nothing worse than the dude that like every single tournament we have after the weigh-in, he's standing there and telling me, man, if I had been fishing today, I would have, So if you had been fishing, you should have been fishing then. You weren't. You're an idiot for not entering if you could have won that tournament. But my theory on all of this is there is some incredibly competitive. And the one you brought up, Alabama Bass Trail, I mean, K-Circuit is incredible. Too. Texas Team Trail. There's so many of them. You hate to even mention one just because when you mention one, there's so many of them. They're so competitive and it's so many incredible anglers. But one thing that I've always said since day number one about the Elite Series, about the FLW Tour, about the NPFL, about the MLF, it doesn't matter. If you want to dominate on a national level, if you want to dominate at the top level, you better dominate at home first.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a hard argument to make, but I'm like, okay, well, if you got to be in the top 10 at the Alabama Bass Trail to consistently make it on the Elites and the top 10 on the Texas Team Trail to make it on the Elites, you're taking the top 10 from all of these circuits. You know what? That's what the Elites becomes. That's the best of the best. And generally, if somebody skips a step, that's one of the biggest mistakes in pro fishing.
1,000,000%.
It's the difference between pro fishing and pro baseball. I mean, you look at a baseball player, they don't skip steps. I mean, they play through all the different divisions on their way up. And if they do skip a step, it's because they're ready. And if they're not ready, that gets shown pretty quick and they get knocked back down that step and we'll go for a tune-up. In fishing, you can skip steps. In fishing, you could fish your first turn. You could legitimately enter the Opens this year, be that phenom, go out there, qualify for the Elites, and be on the Elites after fishing, 4 tournaments, basically.
3 events.
3 or 4 events.
Yeah.
That's never successful. That's so it is so rare. I mean, the biggest tip I can give anybody working their way up in pro fishing is dominate at every level. If you're a high school angler, work your butt off and dominate at that level. When you get to college, dominate at that level. When you get past that, dominate at the Opens or wherever the next step is for you. Dominate at that level and then move up. So my answer is at the top. It's the toughest circuit to compete against. But I know by saying that, I am putting a giant target on myself to get roasted in the comments. So
get him.
Get me.
Get him. This has really been, you've been kind of fired up this episode. I'm gonna be honest. You stoked the fire in the mom's basement moment. Then you came at me. Then you're like, I'll never be anything close to varsity. And now you're just throwing it in the humpers' faces that maybe.
This is the problem with you, Duncan. This is, I'm starting to see why Boyd's got an issue. Okay. You read the lines in the press release that you choose to read, my friend. You need to read all the lines. Okay?
Oh, you're giving everybody fodder that hates me right now. I love that. I deserve it.
Well, I mean, I said so many nice things about you, and then you just pick one little barb, one little jab.
I really didn't think that episode 12 would be where this shit started unraveling, but man, I think you're watching too much UFC. That's what I think.
It's coming.
It's coming. And I think
a lot of NFL, but I know you're not allowed to talk about that this week, are you?
Stop it. Have you guys, I'm going to say this is not
tighten up. Let's get this show together. Tighten up.
Not only, I'm saying this is not even a topic. We got to get to something Canadian. You guys are going to hear about it. It's really, it is. It is very Canadian, the next topic. But I want to say this in between. We were going to talk about the NFL. I'm a huge Tennessee Titans fan, just like I'm a Tennessee Vols fan, and the Tennessee Vols suck. So all my hopes and dreams rested on Derrick Henry's shoulders, and freaking Baltimore beat us. So I don't want to talk about the NPFL, the NFL anymore. But I'm going to say this. All of you out there, throw Dave under the bus again. He's a damn Kansas City Chiefs fan from Canada. And he has a really cool story behind that. But he's like, oh, Patrick Mahomes good.
Hey, no, you know what
Patty
we were?
Mahomes.
Do you know what we were for many years? I'm going to tell you what we were. The freaking Tennessee Titans, dude.
For real?
100%, dude. If you look at
no kidding.
Jamal Charles, all these rushing champions that had the Chiefs, dude, it's a one-piece team, and that's the problem with the Titans right now.
I agree with that.
And no matter what happens this weekend with the Chiefs, and St. Patrick, do your magic. But the Chiefs have invested in a lot of pieces. And you look at what they did even in the running back game halfway through the season, to add another piece to piece that's already working. But I mean, the Titans have got a strong core. The problem is, dude, when you have a horse that carries your entire team.
That's right.
That's what King freaking Henry was this season.
And last.
Cannot expect somebody to, those rushing records, they take years off your career. You know what I mean? Like you imagine if he was, just imagine how effective he'd be if he had to rush half as much. You know what I mean? If they had a real threat at QB, so I'm not hating on them. What I'm saying is we've been there. And that's why when you get there, when the team actually does do the right things, it does feel nice because trust me, as a Chiefs fan, we sucked for a long, long time. And the Titans, I think, have a bright future. I think a bright future. And I don't want to talk anymore about football because I feel like I'm gonna jinx my team. But go Chiefs, please beat the Browns. I mean, how am I even freaking saying that? Really? Like that beginning of that Browns game. Oh my!
Wouldn't that be very Cinderella-esque for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 20 years to just roll in their ahead and
it would be. It would be beautiful.
I bet those commentators would really enjoy setting that story up 1,000 times.
They're going to build it up, and
Chris Collinsworth
is going to mow it down. Oh God! Let me get back on topic. Our next topic is something from my fine country. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the football thing, but let me know in comments who you think. Will the Chiefs win, and who can stop them? Who can freaking stop them? That's my question to you. There's nobody gonna stop the Chiefs. Let's be honest. This is the weirdest thing ever, dude. This is the weirdest thing ever. Okay, Quebec is a part of Canada. In Canada, we have provinces, where in America, you have states. In Canada, we just have the state of confusion, okay? We have provinces instead of states. And one of our other provinces is Quebec. And a lot of people speak French in Quebec, and that's where all the French-speaking people in Canada are from. But they are currently under... we're under lockdown here in Ontario. Like none of the businesses are open or anything but they're under a full lockdown. They're under what do you call a curfew lockdown, which thank God they say that's not going to happen here. But basically it means COVID can tell the time. And after 8:00, you're not allowed outside anymore.
Here it comes down the street.
So
On a Harley.
I think it's between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. You're not allowed outside. All right. So now there's some exceptions to the rule, obviously. I mean, if your dog needs to poop, you can go outside, right?
He gets to poop.
I mean, they can't make a rule. Your dog can't poop between 8 and 5. Dogs can't tell the time. COVID can, but the dogs can't. Okay? All right. So let me read this to you. Quebec couple fined $3,000 after a woman walked her husband on a leash during curfew restrictions. While most Quebecers seem to be taking the month-long 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew in stride, a couple in Shelburne, Quebec, dealt with it in a unique way. Basically, the police caught them, and the police said, here's the police. I just confirmed with the Sherbrooke police that the husband and wife were both fined walking after curfew, and the wife did refer to her husband as her dog.
Oh,
they were trying to be creative and get away with freaking curfew. They did not allow them. I don't know whether they're freaks. I don't know whether they're getting away with something. But what has happened to our world where people are walking their freaking partners
just to go outside?
We're freaking, Ken.
Now, I mean, there's also a chance that they're into that, right? I mean, I'm not here to judge. You know, some people are freaks, right? Maybe that was part of their deal that night. I don't know. But the fact that that's also the excuse they fed the cops when they got busted for being outside at 8:05. It's sad that that's the world we're living in right now.
$1,500 each. $3,000. $3,000. I mean, you could have bought a dog. You could have bought legit, like half
any dog, literally any dog, any dog. Had it aired to your house via Amazon. Any dog for $3,000. Any dog. a gold-plated dog that does all kind of crazy shit.
I'm going to get, there's a market. I mean, delivering teacup poodles. I'm walking my poodle. It's freaky. And it leaves me with one question to you. Of all these things that we've talked about this week, is now. I believe I have an answer to it all. We're all, okay. This is going to fix everything. I mean, really, it doesn't matter where you are politically, where you are in the world, what league you fish. It doesn't matter. I mean, the world needs this now. I ask you this right now. I feel we are too spoiled. I feel we've all been spoiled. Really, listen. I mean, we get spoiled. I mean, we're spoiled. I mean, people.
I agree.
We're spoiled. I mean, nobody's going to argue that we are freaking spoiled, right? Like, I mean, if this video pauses, you're like, son of a. I mean, you're already pissed at the ads.
Ad pops up. Yeah.
we're very. Is this the perfect time, Luke Dunkin? Is now the perfect time for the aliens to attack? And I don't mean to take advantage of the disorganized mess that we are. I mean to unify us, because we hear people hating each other for everything. I hate that guy because of the person he votes for. I hate that person because of the team they cheer for. I hate that person because of the color they are. I hate that person because of the person that they like to sleep with. I hate that person because of the town that they're from. You take a couple of freaking laser yielding friggin' Martians and they start vaporizing a couple of humans. All of a sudden, nobody gives a crap what team you cheer for.
We're all together.
Nobody cares.
Have our attention.
I don't care who you were sleeping with last night. I don't care what color you are. You don't have a laser and you're not trying to.
Quick, here, take this deer rifle. Anti-gunners, pro-gunners, everybody side by side on the line whenever Predator comes, thermal imaging everybody's ass. So I have a different take on that. I think now is the most perfect time in the world for aliens to come for another reason, because I think that people are so preoccupied with arguing with each other on social media, they wouldn't even pay it any attention. And the aliens could just slowly be like walking down freaking, I don't know, Main Street, wherever, sniping kids and stuff. And we're all going to be like, you know what?
I need a selfie with the alien.
Yeah. Look, this guy's costume is the best, man. Yeah, look at this. Look at these dreadlocks. Meanwhile, predators, whatever. This year they released, like, all of a sudden it's like the military's like, oh yeah, we see UFOs all the time. What? Or last year, dude, there's articles. Yeah, they're like Air Force saying, oh yeah, for years, man, there's some weird stuff that goes down. And we just all jumped right over that. Jumped right over it like it never existed. Google it. Freaking Google it. The U.S. government said, yes, we have seen some weird stuff over the years. It's out there. They said it in 2020 because I remember like Rogan and several other people posted like, okay, in the most 2020 thing ever, we're just going to slide these classified documents out. Like, oh yeah, dude, look it up. It's insane.
Okay,
we lost every follower over this topic. No. I'm not a psychopath. This is
anybody
legit
that's
stuff.
Still here.
Yes,
I need to know,
indeed.
honestly, even if you don't ever comment, I need to know. Just let me know. Are aliens real? Is this real, or is this all just? I just want everyone's honest opinion. Are aliens real? And is this? I think it's the perfect time. I mean, I didn't know this was a real thing. I mean, and now that I brought it up, I'm scared they're actually going to listen to me. I've caused a lot of problems within our two countries. I do not need to go interstellar. Is that what it's? What is?
I think it's called Interstellar.
Mean?
Google it.
I don't even know what that means.
We need a guy. We need somebody.
Why are you always telling me to Google things?
Google it. I'm just saying, Google it. God, I'm gonna get labels like this conspiracy theorist psychopath after this episode. But I think that, dude, there's a lot. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things that happen in the world, and I don't know. It would be hard for me to say, God, I'm gonna get killed over this. It would be hard for me to say that there's no possible chance in all of the freaking vastness that is whatever that there's not something else. Like, I don't know, like some sort of, dude, this week, another one, here you go. God, people are like, Luke's a weirdo, right? Too much time at home. NASA yesterday announced that they were getting FM radio transmission type signals.
Shut up.
From a moon of Jupiter. Look it up. Look it up, man. Swear. And they said it was LD and the MC. And they were listed LD and the MC. So we're screwed. I'm here to say I come in peace. You guys need a place to crash. Come on down. Middle Tennessee, we'll see what the country life's about for you fine green fellas.
He comes in peace, and unless of course you throw some exorbitant statistics at him, he'll come at you like a pit viper,
like a spider monkey.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we should be.
So should they invade or not is my question. Is now the perfect time to unify us?
I think so, but I will say this. I will end on this. COVID, to me, a pandemic should have unified the world, and it did not. You have people that are like, masks are dumb, masks are great. You're a piece of crap because you believe in it. COVID's fake. It was created by this lab in China. There's all these different conspiracy theories around everything. And you and I, this was a very simple conversation you and I had last week. I was headed to a basketball game that my son was playing in. Now, there are restricted crowds. You got to wear a mask. There's 20 people in this gigantic gym, whatever. But as you and I are talking and you're across a borderline from me on lockdown, you're like, well, no wonder we can't get this crap under control. You freaking people are playing basketball. But it's like that because, look, last night, Alabama won the national championship. Thousands of people flock to the streets of Tuscaloosa, no mask. It looked like a freaking, Woodstock. They're all on top of each other, going crazy to celebrate the fact that Alabama won the national championship again. Like, we are pulling in different directions very much. So that would be the terrifying part for me is you would have guys going, aliens don't exist. You're a piece of crap. It's even an alien. This is created by the government, whatever. Like, you would have very much like, I worry that we are so divided that even something like that might not bring us together. I don't know.
But you know what can? What can bring us together is a silly little podcast. And the only way for it to bring us all together is for you, the fine humpers, to share this with all your friends, your family. Let's break the YouTube algorithm. Give it a like, even if you don't like it. Share it with your friends, your family. And thank you for listening to LD
and the MC.
I'm so glad you didn't screw that last part up there.
Dude, I'm getting closer to varsity every day.